I'm wonderful.
Well, we'll have to, I'll hold my comments on that one. That's nice. You're a nice guy, but I don't know if I'd say you're wonderful.
Well, I am. I'm a wonderful person.
There. Okay. It starts out. Yeah, but you really, I've always liked it. Yeah. So you get all your Christmas shopping done, Mr. Rick?
Rick, I am done. Finished?
They're all done. Yeah,
I'm
I'm almost done. And I won't be involved. And I haven't gone to one store to go shopping, so I'm proud of myself.
The good thing about having grown kids, all you have to do is give them either the money or a car and they're happy. So,
Yeah.
I'll put that girl.
That's what we did for our grandkids. We just sent gift cards all over the country. Here, and there you go.
Yeah.
That sure makes it easy.
Oh my goodness.
You go buy what you want.
It simplifies your life so much. It simplifies your life so much. So, yeah.
Yeah, it does. See? Okay, well, you guys can check it. That's what it is. Maybe he's on the phone or what? Steve will be here tomorrow. I said, he's checking. Is Director Wallace online? Director Wallace, are you there? Is Mr. Wallace on the phone? Somebody's talking. Is Mr. Wallace on the phone? What are you got a piece of Tupperware? I know that Director Stewart is there. I know that Director Webb is there, and Director Glennan and myself. Still waiting for Director Wallace. Is he on the line yet? Huh? Oh, get out of here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start the meeting, and then we will, when we get to the new business, and Nb1, we will go ahead and take a short recess and give Mr. Wallace a chance to join us. So let's call the meeting to order. Okay, roll call.
President Rick Webb.
Here.
Vice President Rick Webb.
I'm here.
Director Gregory Washington. Director Byron Glennan.
Here.
President Stewart.
Here.
Okay, please rise and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, new business one. Director Wallace, are you on the line? Okay, let's go ahead and take a short recess where we can try to get Director Wallace on the line so he can be sworn in.
says Election of Officers presenter.
That's all we're doing. So I policy we have to do the election of officers.
Okay.
And then
Okay, let's go ahead and call the meeting back to order. Director Stewart, Director Webb, are you still on the line?
Dr. Stewart's here. Director Webb here.
Okay, Director Wallace, are you there? Okay, we will go ahead and go in with the swearing in of newly elected board members because we do have one board member here to be sworn in. And we will go ahead and come back to Nb1 at the sometime during the meeting when Mr. Wallace is able to get here. And then at that point, we will have him sworn in. And if not, then we will make other arrangements for his swearing in. Okay?
please raise your hand. And repeat after me. I, Byron Glennan, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations, Byron. Hey, your pictures look great. Shaking his hand off. Yeah. Okay, hand well. So I say we'll go ahead and Okay. Congratulations to Director Glennan on being sworn in for another 4 years. And we'll go on to Nb2 Election of Officers. And at this time, guess it goes to you.
Mr. President, it is time for you to pass the gavel, and the incoming president will be Director Webb, and if you will pass the gavel to Director Webb, he will then become your board's president.
Okay. I would like to say at this time it's an honor and a privilege to pass the gavel to Director Webb. and he will make an excellent board president. And at this time, Director Webb, congratulations. You are now the board president, and the gavel is yours.
Thank you, Director Webb.
I
have one thing to say. The next meeting, I expect you to sing the national anthem, President.
I do say you want me to dance, though. See, that's the problem. Greg, I'd like to tell you, before we continue, that, sir, I give you high props, high praise, Greg. You've done a wonderful job. We talk about the word leadership, and I can honestly say you led from your heart in trying to get things done, and at no time did nothing come first but the wellness of this community and the wellness of that district. So I sincerely appreciate having been the vice president and just set me up to move forward. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir, for those kind words.
And Mr. President Webb, it would be an order for you at this point to conduct the appointment of a vice president.
Okay, at this time, I would like to have nominations for the vice president of the board. I'll open it up now for nominations. I would like to nominate Byron Glennan for vice president. Okay, do I have a second from the board for Byron Glennan as vice president? Director Stewart, second. Okay, Director Stewart, second. Are there any others on the board members that would like to open up for me to nominate someone? Okay, at this time, with there being no one else there, Director Glennan, are you willing to accept the position of Vice President of the Rosamond Community Services District?
Yes, sir.
Okay, with that, hey Steve, was that question?
Yes.
Do we still have to vote for it, or since there was no other names came up, do we still have to have a formal vote on it?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to take a vote. Zach, could you take the vote for us, please? And let's acknowledge by a global acknowledgement. Could you call the front account for that?
That's for the nomination.
Yeah, for the nomination, I'm sorry. For the nomination for the vice president. So we had a motion by Director Wood. We had a second by Director Stewart. For Byron going to be the new vice president of the board. He said he's going to accept. At this time, there's no others. I'm going to close the nomination period. At this time, I'd like to ask the board secretary to conduct the vote count for us.
President Webb?
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace is absent. Director Byron Glennan?
Yes.
Director Matt Stewart?
Yes.
Director Greg Wood?
Yes.
Okay. And do we have a 4-0 count for the new vice president of the board? Was that a vote count of 7-0, 4-0? Okay, with the record reflect that Byron Glennan has been elected to new vice president of Rosamond Community Service District with a 4-0 vote count. Okay, Steve, that was only officer's position we are open, correct, currently?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Yes.
Okay, that was the only one that we had open. Okay, we'll move on. We'll continue with the agenda. We'll move for approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
Mr. President, Al is here.
Oh, okay. So can we, let's go back, can we go back to the swearing in of the board members back with Nb1 and swearing on new board members?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we're going to go back to Nb number 1 and continue with the swearing in of our new board members. At this time, I pass over to the district assistant general manager to conduct that. Was that please?
It's right there, Al. And your seat is right here. Welcome back. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
The swearing is completed.
We're ready.
Okay. Congratulations, sir. Welcome back to the board there. Do you have an agenda in front of you? We were just getting to the part about approving the agenda for the current meeting. If you do not have one, we're under approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Was that Byron? Was that Byron and Director Stewart? We have a motion by Director Stewart, Vice President Glennan, and a second by Director Stewart. All those in favor, can we have a roll call vote, please?
President Webb?
Yes.
Vice President Byron Glennan?
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace?
Yes.
Director Nb2 Stewart?
Yes.
And Director Greg?
Yes.
Okay, that passes a 5-0. At this point, the agenda has been approved. At this point, we have the public comments that are open at this time. Any person may address the board on any subject within the jurisdiction which is not on the agenda. However, any non-agenda matter will be referred to staff for a report and or action at a subsequent board meeting, and no action can be taken on any such item discussed unless action has been authorized under 54954.2G for government code. Any person may also address the board on any subject, on any agenda matter at the time the matter is discussed prior to the board's consideration for action. Speakers are requested to limit their time to 5 minutes. At this time, is any community member or someone would like to make a public comment currently? Please have a record to note that we opened up the public comment and there were none, and we're now going to close the public comment section. At this point, we will go into closed session. Can I have a motion by a board member to go into closed session?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Vice President Glennan. Is that a second by Director Wood?
Yes.
Well, let's do it. Okay, at this time, can we have a roll call vote to go into closed session?
President Webb?
Yes.
Vice President Byron Glennan?
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace?
Yes.
Director Nb2 Stewart? Director Nb2 Stewart?
Sorry, yes.
Director Greg?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, we're in closed session. Can everyone hang up and redial in on the closed session phone number? Thank you.
You don't look at me over 79. Thank you. You don't expect this to be an easy crowd, do you?
Are we all back online?
Yes. And Glennan's not here yet. Byron's not in. Byron's not here yet.
Okay, stand by.
How is, which way? Okay, we're here. He's calling in remotely.
Is everyone back?
Yep.
Okay, a motion to come out of closed. Everyone's there? Motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Any second? Okay, second to come out. We have a motion by Vice President Glennan, a second by Director Stewart to come out of closed session. Can I have a roll call vote?
President Webb?
Yes.
Vice President Byron Glennan?
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace?
Yes.
Director Nb2 Stewart?
Yes.
Director Greg?
Yes.
Yes,
5-0 vote to come out of closed session. There's no reportable action that was taken in closed session. We'll continue now with the open session for our general meeting. As stated earlier, regarding the public comments, if we will ask anyone that has to speak to hold it to 5 minutes. I read the paragraph earlier that's still in play there. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment at this during the open session? Let's make a notation that it was open and no, there were no public comments. Let's close the public comments and let's move for approving of the minutes of the meetings. We're approving M1, M2, M3, M4, and M5. Can we do those all? We have to do those individually. Is that, can we do them all as, or we have to approve each one separately?
We can do them all together.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve M1, M2, M3, M4, and M5?
So moved.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice President Glennan. Well, that's Stewart or Wood for the second.
Wood.
Woods, okay. We have a motion by Vice President Glennan. We have a second by Director Wood to approve the minutes. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
President Webb?
Yes.
Vice President Glennan?
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace?
Yes.
President Stewart?
Yes.
President Webb?
Yes.
Okay, that's a 5-0 vote to approve the minutes. For the consent calendar, CC1. Now the motion approved.
So moved.
You have a second? You have a motion by Vice President Glennan. Who was the second?
Director Wood.
Director Wood. So we have a motion by Vice President Glennan and a second by Director Wood. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
President Webb?
Yes.
Vice President Glennan?
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace?
Yes.
President Stewart?
Yes.
President Webb?
Yes.
We have a 5-0 vote for the consent calendar. We'll move down to new business. We're at Nb number 3, assignment of the Board of Directors to the standing committees. Folks, first of all, I was contacted by a few of the board members who said that they would like to continue working on the boards they currently have. So what I propose we're going to do here, the standing committees as they are now, the members who are seated there now will remain in place with our new board member, Mr. Wallace. You'll be taking over the boards, the committee that the former Director Washington sat on. I do not have the list in front of me. I apologize for it. But we're going to, if you can provide Director Wallace with the committee so he'll be sitting on, when you get a copy or email it to me. So if there's no other board member that has any concerns about the boards now, I will leave the boards as they stand now, and we'll be adding Director Wallace to the board that the former board member, Director Washington had. Any questions or concerns?
Nope.
Hearing none, I move to Nb number 4, the establishment of the motion for number 3.
So moved.
Yes, Director, Vice President Director Woods. Can I get a vote for Nb number 3? Was presented by it is.
Can I hold you for the Nb3 doesn't require a motion? It's an appointment.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Okay, so the board's positions stand as they are now with the committees, the board members on them, and we try to reflect that Director Wallace will be taking over the boards that the former board member, Director Washington, held. To Nb number 4, the establishment of the ad hoc committees, I would ask that my fellow board members let me table that for a later date. I'd like to take some more time on it there because a few of them, they may not be as relevant currently, so I would like to meet with the GM and the assistant GM and discuss that and bring that back to the board at a later date.
I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move on to Nb number 5. It's the adoption of resolution number 2020-17. It's the agreement for the virus relief assistance to the special districts with the Kern County. Brock Smith is the presenter. and he's the Public Works Manager. Bob, are you there?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. The petition you have before you tonight will allow the district to apply for reimbursement for coronavirus-related expenses. Kern County has received federal funding through the CARES Act and has set aside $2 million for special districts within the county. They are to be assessed for $80,000 in response to COVID-19. By adopting this resolution, the district can apply for and receive reimbursement faster than conventional avenues through Cal OES or FEMA. So we are recommending that you adopt this tonight. This can simply allow us to receive funding before the end of this calendar year.
Okay, are there any questions from any of the directors? Okay, look at this requires a roll call vote, correct? And a motion. Can I get a motion to accept the resolution 202017 as presented by the Public Works Manager?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice President Glennan, second by Director Webb. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
President Webb,
Yes.
Vice President Glennan,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
Alderman Stewart,
Yes.
Director Gregory.
Yes.
The resolution was adopted by the district 5-0 vote. Lieutenant, you have everything prepared to get that taken care of?
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's continue. We're at the Nb number 6. Request for variance to drill domestic well and install a septic system for AP 473-140-08. And the Public Works Manager, Smith, will present that to us. Go ahead, sir.
So the owner of this property is requesting a variance from the district's standard specifications to allow them to drill a domestic water well and install a septic system within our district boundaries. This property is located near Avenue A and the 14 freeway, and although it is within our district boundaries, we do not currently have infrastructure in that area. By approving this variance, that will allow the property owner to drill a domestic well and install a septic tank for a single family residence only. This has already been brought to the Water Master Board and approved by the Water Master Board, and now they're asking for our blessing to do so. The owner of this property also understands that a variance granted is not a permanent exemption from our district specifications, and in the future, if lines are run to that area, they will then be required to connect to our system. So this is just a variance for the time being, and in the future, if those lines are available, those lines.
Rob, this is Byron. Is it standard practice that they go to the Water Master first and then they come to us?
Historically, that's what's seen. Obviously, the water is a somewhat new process in this. I would say that that's probably the more timely part of this application would be getting Water Master's approval, and also the more expensive part. This is a standard practice. Historically, this is a standard practice for us to approve a resolution, especially when the property sits so far. This one's about 3/4 of a mile away from our nearest line.
Yeah, I'm fine with that order. And I think when somebody comes to us, we need to say, have you been to the Water Master first? Because that is the more difficult one.
Neither party, without either party, it can't be completed. So they have to go to both in order to complete the whole process.
I've got some questions on this. I talked to Steve about this earlier this week, and number one, I do not have a problem with the variance. I mean, that's a no-brainer. We've granted variances before. What my concern was is that this variance was being based on a resolution 93-40, which was adopted in November of 1993. And I know that was before my time on the board, but since then, I know that the district has taken measures to put language out there. I don't know if it was in an ordinance or if it was in a new resolution or what, but I know that under this ordinance in 1993, 3, they were under no obligation or requirement to tie into our system when they came within a certain footage of our facilities, or when our facilities came within a certain footage of their property. And so my concern on this is that granting this variance on this old, basically almost 30-year-old resolution, that it doesn't have the language in there that they are required to do it, and I'm hoping that this wouldn't cause a domino effect if people that were, this was the old variance where they were granted their variances on, and then I know that we have granted variances since then, since I've been on the board in the late 90s, that the language was in there, you know, addressing the fact that with, I think it was 1,000 feet of our sewer or water utilities come within 1,000 feet of their property line, that they have to abandon their well and their septic system and tie into our system and pay their connection fees and conservation fees and all of that stuff. So I just want to make sure that we're not painting ourselves in a corner. I would like to, you know, maybe think about tabling this until our next meeting to give staff enough time to research, you know, to make sure that, you know, if we have to find the ordinances or find the paperwork where we've made changes since 1993 in regards to variances, and in that way we could, you know, if we have to adopt a resolution or something like this, because, you know, this was all pre-adjudication and everything else, and I just want to make sure that, you know, we're not putting ourselves in a vulnerable position by using a variance that we haven't used on variances granted the last few that I know of.
If I might add to that, as I mentioned to you before, number one, the resolution that you're referring to is an authoritarian resolution allowing the board to take action on the variance. It doesn't set forth the requirements like I had mentioned before in policy. Our policy tells them what they have to do when they get within a certain footage, not the resolution. That's not intended to be in this resolution. This is giving the board the authority to do a variance. That's what this resolution is all about. Our policies cover it specifically on how far, when they get within a certain distance, when they have to connect. That's why I had Brock go back and reiterate to them that they understood that when the infrastructure got close enough, they were going to be required to hook up. And that paper trail on email and their acknowledgement to that will be attached to their application. So we have a paper trail of their understanding of that.
Okay. Hey, Brock or Steve, question for you. Realistically, when would you guys see that we would even have growth that far out to have hookups? I mean, this is not a next year type project where we would have any utilities out that far, correct?
We don't foresee it. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay.
We actually had a tentative parcel map plan near this parcel in the past. The developer was looking at expanding out into that area. The engineer's probable construction cost estimate for that extension of water and sewer mains to an adjacent parcel to the one that we're mentioning here was over $800,000, and for that reason they walked away from the project. It's going to take a very large development to bring water and sewer into that area. And if I might add what Steve already mentioned, we have shared the district policies with this customer and informed them that if they are approved the the variance, it is per these sections of our ordinances, specifically which states that any owner of a building situated within the district is required at his expense to connect the said building to the public sewer in accordance with the provisions of this ordinance within 90 days after made notice by the manager to do so. They are aware of that, and we have a plan for that.
So basically you're saying if we ever get that far out, we have 3 months from the date of to hook into us. And they're aware of it and they bought off on it.
Absolutely, and in the acknowledgement that is given to this property owner with the variance granted, it will state those same terms, that this is not a permanent exemption from our policies, and these policies will still apply once the infrastructure is in place.
Director Woods, is that a better,
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I would like to see in the future maybe to be brought back to the board that we could write a new resolution regarding variances, but to make sure that the variance application and the variance paperwork spells out exactly what they're going to do, referring to the policies and ordinances that we have in place. That way there's no gray area, that they know, and then I would appreciate if we could look into bringing that back at a future time to update our variance resolution.
That sounds fair. Are there any other directors with questions regarding NB number 6?
I have one question. Does the water master, are they aware of our variances when they approve the drilling of the well? Not necessarily, okay.
We actually have the chance to comment on any of these wells before they're brought before the Water Master Board. As part of the committee get on, we have a chance to comment on these and how many of these do cause impact to our system.
Okay.
Does the water master have to approve the drilling of wells?
Yes. Because we really want to be in sync with the water master on.
Right.
Is that ABAC or?
No, it's Water Master, it's separate, but it's run out of the ABAC office.
Yeah, they're a separate board altogether.
Does this require a vote of the board?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get a motion for NB number 6 to approve the variance of the drill to the septic tank in a well for AP in 473-148 Jury? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Vice President Glennan, correct?
Yep.
We have a second. Was that Director Wallace that gave the second?
Yes.
Okay, can I get a roll call vote for NB number 6?
President Request,
Yes.
Vice President Byron Glennan,
Yes.
Director Wallace,
Yeah.
Director Ben Stewart,
Yes.
Director Greg White.
Yes.
Okay, NB number 6 is approved with a 5-0 vote. On to NB number 7, accept easements at APN 258-11005 and 258-110-04. The presenter of Public Works Manager Bosco. Sir, you have the floor.
So the Sierra Creek apartment complex is a planned development on Sierra Highway that's currently in the planning process with both Rosamond CSD and Kern County. As part of the utility plans for that off-site water extensions are required. One of those off-site water extensions would be to complete a looped system which would tie up from our water main on Diamond Street through this parcel over to our water main that's near Well 5 off of 20th and Harville Street. That water line would need to cross 2 properties that did not currently have easements on them. So in order to complete this project, the developer had to acquire easements to be granted to our district to maintain a future water line. What you see before you is the easement for both of those parcels to install the future water line, and that line